Hey everyone, and welcome back to Elden Ring. In this episode, we are going to continue north of Aridus's Rise. Oops, let me take this out of here. We're going to head north through this area called the Crater Pocked Grove, I believe. I'm sorry, Glade. The Greater Crater Pocked Grave. There's a few items to pick up over here. And we're also going to take care of a catacomb and then make our way across to this side, pick up a few items, and then work our way down to this forest. There is another cave that we're going to do, but I don't know for sure if we will get to that in this episode. I think I might save that one for next episode because the boss is fairly tough in that one. So let's go ahead and rest at the Site of Grace. We're going to change it to daytime. There aren't any nighttime bosses here, so not really anything to be concerned about. But we definitely, well, maybe not definitely, but it's good to have it during the day. Just makes it easier to see everything. Something I had forgotten to do is to go in and charge our flask. So we have 2 golden seeds, so we can increase the number of uses. So let's do that. And allocate, I think we're still good with having more heals and just a couple of FP. I'm perfectly fine with that. Change yours however you want. If you're not using any magic or if you are not using any skills, then there's no reason to have the FP. So just put all of it into heal. So play how you want, but I'm going to keep more heals for right now. So we'll allocate it that way. Let's take a look at our spells. I don't think that we had... Yeah, we did get that new slot, so we can go ahead and put glintstone stars in here. I don't really think this one is super useful at this point, just because it takes so long to charge to get a full shot of it, but it's not going to hurt to have it. And level up. So we have about 4,000 points to level. So I know I said that I was, well, actually this works out perfectly because I said I was going to go kind of bouncing between vigor, mind, and endurance, and then start putting some points in intelligence to get our weapon scaling up. But I was planning on putting 1 point into mind next because I want to get my FP up to 100. And I'll show that reason a little bit later. So that actually works out perfectly. So the next level up point we'll go ahead and put into mind. So I think that we are ready to go. For now, I'm going to keep using the twin blade. In my practice, I went back to using the Uchi Katana. And I enjoy that one. And I do want to kind of try to mix things up a little bit, but I don't want to switch things up too often. Alright, so these guys are not super tough, but they do have some gravity magic. And right above me you can see that little swirling vortex thing. That is not a mini boss necessarily, but it's another one of those alabaster knights, I think is what they were called. The one that we fought to get the gravity Ash of War. I can't remember the name of it right now. But it's best if you slowly take care of all of these around him first. Alabaster Lord, that's what they're called. So it's best to take care of those little ones first. Ooh, wow, Bleed did good. Just so that you don't have to worry about fighting them and dodging their attacks while you're fighting this Alabaster Lord. Wow, it looks like he got stuck down in there. Not necessarily a bad thing. Alright, so he's not super hard. If you have a strong enough weapon and get your dodges right, he's not overly difficult, but if you're getting abused by all of them at the same time, it can be a fairly tough fight. So I don't think there's anything up on this coastline, but I'm gonna ride up here just super quick because I Can't be 100% certain. And I'm so glad I did, because it looks like... I can't remember if I already got this. I don't think I did. There was that group of wolves over there, and I said, I'm not going to go fight them, because I don't need to. So we've got some more starlight shards, so that's good. I'm glad I came up that way. Alright, so now we'll head back north. Go ahead and top things off. Or not. There we go. So there's just a couple of items above that crater pocked glade. Not sure why that one's such a hard thing to say. Crater pocked glade. Stuck on trees. Gosh. Just a mushroom underneath here. There's some bats. I don't think that that's actually their name. I think we might learn what it is later, and I can't think of what it is now. An owl. I can take that one out to get a slumbering egg. I don't necessarily love killing the wildlife, but having crafting items is always useful. It's kind of cool on my drive to work yesterday or today, I can't remember when it was. I saw this huge thing in the middle of the road. I knew it was a bird, but it was eating some kind of roadkill. And when I got close to it, I realized that it was really big, and it flew off, and it was an owl, which was kind of cool. We don't really see those in the neighborhoods around where I live that often. So just picked up another stone sword key. And for now, just wanted to mention that I'm probably not going to share where I live and any really personal information about myself at this point in time. Maybe some point in the future if I start feeling more comfortable with that, but for now I just kind of want to be myself in real life and Rowdy Robot when I'm online. So anyway, so those of you that do know who I am, I would appreciate keeping the comments non-personal related, if that makes any sense. So alright, so we have another one of these Roses statues. This one is pointing to a catacomb, and I did mention that we were going to be doing that, and it's pointing over this way. So let's go ahead and go there now. Pretty sure I got everything out of this field. I did. Let me ride down this way just to be sure. I think this just takes us back down to the other place. Yeah, that's where we fought the Misbegotten, and there was the wagon with the troll. So this takes us back to that side of Grace. But we're going to stay over here for right now and look at the incredible view. Absolutely love this game. It is so incredible. Sorry if you get tired of hearing me say that, but I can't help it. It's such a fun game, and it looks so neat. Such good art direction. Alright, so it's kind of down this little cliffside. We're safe to fall here. This is actually not really great place to farm, like going back and forth and farming, but there's a few of these giant dragonflies over here that aren't super pesky, as long as you can lock onto them and hit them while they're not moving around. A good place to get some of the dragonfly heads. There are some areas later in the game that we're definitely going to want to have plenty of the healing boluses. Let me just go over in here real quick to crafting. So like the neutralizing, the ones that cure poison, and ones we'll get later for rot, those use the dragonfly heads. So it's good to collect as many of those as you can. So it is nighttime, which is why these jellyfish are out. If you come down here during the day, you will not find them. A lot of times when you see the jellyfish in seemingly random places, it's usually indicating that there's something to go look for. It's kind of like they're guiding your way. So these are guiding us to this catacomb. So let's go ahead and go in. And then we're going to do something. We're going to change up our weapon for this catacomb. Hopefully we'll be able to upgrade it. Let me just double check to make sure I've got enough stones. I have 7, so I can probably get it up to a level 3. No, 2. You have to have 10. So it takes... Is it 10 or 12? 3, 1... I can't remember. Let's just go ahead and fast travel to the... Oh, we can't travel from here because we're inside the catacomb. Let's travel to the round table hold real quick and see if we can upgrade the Morning Star. It is a good strike weapon. It also does bleed. But we're going to be going up against some, I guess you could call them construct enemies. So like the imps. And they are pretty weak against that. The katana works well, and I think the twin blade should be okay, but let's go ahead and try. I think we've heard him say that before. I apologize if we hadn't. Let's see what we can increase this one to. Okay, so yeah, it takes 2, 1, 4, 6, 12. I wasn't really paying attention. Jeez. Okay, so 2 and then 4. So it takes 12 to get it up, or to use all of the smithing stone ones to get it up to where you would need the 2. So let's go ahead and... Yeah, we'll go ahead and give it a try. Why not? It's not going to hurt anything. So let's go ahead and travel back to the catacomb, and this one was called the Impaler's Catacomb. Okay, and I'm going to cut for just a second. Okay, sorry for that cut. We are back at the Impaler's Catacomb, so let's go ahead and start going through here. I don't think that we have... No, we still not even close. So watch off to your left, you're going to have an imp climb up. If you hit it while it's climbing, you can knock it down. So that did a little bit less than half of its health. Watch out for these, they throw their knives. Oh, I thought he was going to fall. I'm going to switch to the twin blade. Let me see if I can carry both of them. No, that puts me into a heavy load. I'm going to go ahead and just switch back to the twin blade. I kind of want to do a damage comparison. Get a gray violet and see which one does more damage. When I was practicing, I think that I had my twin blade up a little bit higher. I should have checked that while I was there. Dang it, that was dumb. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back to the round table hold and then cut back to here and see if I can either get my twin blade up higher or not, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I was able to get the twin blade up to a +4. I'm sorry, a +5. Wow. Jeez, I am not even paying attention to the numbers in front of my face. So let's go down here real quick and hit this first imp that comes up and see what kind of percentage of its health. A little bit more. So I'll just stick with this one for right now. I might switch to the Morning Star for the boss, but we'll just wait and see what happens on our first attempt. So there's the heavy door that we're going to head to. Have your magic ready. There are some imps further down here that will throw the knives at you. They do cause damage and they do bleed buildup, so be aware of that. We've got another one here on the wall and another one on the right hand side. Good. And I'm not sure what it dropped yet, but just so you know, it is possible for them to drop their heads that will actually act as a helmet. So those are kind of cool. Can't guarantee that we'll get all of them throughout the game, but there's a few different types of imps, and it's really neat that we can get their helmets or their heads. So, and we've got, oh, there's, I think he was up on the ceiling. There we go. And spin around. I think that's it. All right, so we got a Grave Glovewort 2, which it says we have not read one of those yet, but it should be similar to the first one. White flower that blooms in the catacombs, soundless bell. I'm gonna go, hang on a sec, it's, yeah, right here. So Grave Glovewort. Oh, so it does have a different description. So spirit tuning is not merely the simple act of imbuing strength. It is an art that lies somewhere between tuning an instrument and conducting a conversation, leaving both parties enriched. That is a cool description. I like that. That is really cool. And here we go. So that's it in this room. The Glovewort level 2. And we'll come back and go down this hallway. To a large open room, and you will very soon find out why this place is called the Impaler Catacomb. So, all of those spikes up there, when we get onto the floor, it will go up. And then when it falls, you want to come back down. So I believe that's the only thing up there. That opening. And I'm fairly positive that there's not one over here. We can test it real quick. So as long as you keep running, you'll be able to get over here to this area. Yeah, there's not anything over there. Shoot. This is going to be very dangerous. We'll try it. Nope. And we'll need to try and run back. It's going to slam us up. And then we'll go back. So if you stay on there, it'll slam you up into the ceiling like 2 or 3 times before it falls. So now what we want to do to progress is get it to start moving, and we want to drop down into the water. So there is a grave violet here. I don't think there's any hidden walls in this area. There's not. I don't have my torch on right now. We'll pick up another Ghost Glovewort 2. Oh, that's not another. Sorry, we picked up a Grave Glovewort, and now we picked up a Ghost Glovewort. So let's take a look at the descriptions. Those are the same, but the number of bells on them has increased, which is pretty cool. All right, so now we want to switch to Glintstone Arc. This room is interesting and can also be frustrating. So there's these zombie-like creatures. I'm not really sure what else to call them, but they do keep respawning. We just picked up the Prattling Pate, Please Help. So we'll take a look at that once we get clear. They just keep respawning. So yeah, you can farm the enemies in here if you want to. They're not super difficult, but you only get 36 runes for each one. So I personally don't think it's all that worth it. Got a root resin. I'm pretty sure we've read that one. But again, let's get out of here into some relative safety before we read those items. Alright, so we've got a bunch more of them now. I just want to see if it's even worth killing a large group of them. Probably not. Yeah, not really. And that's fine. Alright, so I was just noticing, why are my runes at less than 3,000? It's because I upgraded the weapons. It costs runes along with the smithing stones. So I was thinking I kept getting closer to my level up, but obviously the more you spend on items or not crafting, but items or upgrading weapons. Be careful, there's an imp right around this corner. So either have your shield up or be ready to dodge backward. Be aware that the only currency in the game is runes. So jump through that window and that'll bring you back down to the heavy door. And we can head back up here and rest, replenish our flasks, and we'll only need to take down 2 of those imps before we go take on the boss. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't really need to change anything right now. I do want to item craft. I don't think that there's really any items that are going to help us in this fight particularly. It's another one of those Erd Tree burial watchdogs, like the giant cat looking thing. I'm pretty sure that they're weak against magic. So if I have something like magic grease, then we can use that, but I don't know if I do. So let's take a look at this one. The prattling pate, please help. It emits the voice that says, please help. Twisted clay sculpt in the shape of a human head emits a voice that says, please help. A wistful fetish that imparts voices and words on an eternal journey. Again, I think that's the same description, but let's go ahead and listen to this one. That's pretty cool. I think those would be more useful in what's it called? Multiplayer, if even at all. So let's go ahead and use a magic grease. We'll just put some magic onto our weapon. Actually, now that I'm thinking about that, no, that won't work because I have changed my twin blade to have bloody slash, and I take that back. Let's test it. So if I don't want to use it, let's go to the correct screen equipment and equip magic grease. And then if we scan through our items, you can see it is highlighted, so I can use that. On my practice account, I actually did change the twin blade to have the blood, what is it called? I can't remember exactly the word right now off the top of my head, but where it basically infuses the weapon with bleed, along with the Ash of War. So if you have it infused with something, then you won't be able to use those greases to add a different affinity. That's the word, affinity. So this one I will be able to. If you scan through your items and it's grayed out, then obviously you won't be able to use it. So one other thing I want to check is which summon I have. Ooh, this is the one I was wanting. No, if I can't use him right now, that's fine. Trying to think of what will be a good one. I don't think the skeletal militiamen are going to be that great in here, but we can go ahead and try them. So we are going to be fighting the burial watchdog, but there are also, it's either 6 or 8 of the little imps surrounding him. So we definitely want to take those out first before we start going after the burial watchdog. So try to keep your eye on the imps and also where the burial watchdog is, so that you can dodge his attacks or her attacks. And let's go ahead and put the magic on our weapon now. And be aware of these imps because they can do melee and they can also they can throw the daggers. So be aware, be careful. And both of my skeletal militiamen are gone. Alright, so just watch his attacks. They come out pretty quick. When you have a moment to get back from the flame attack, that's a good opportunity to do some magic. He's going to slam his sword down. And stabby stab. You can usually tell when he's going to do either a vertical strike or a horizontal strike with his sword. I dodged way too early there and there. Based on how he's holding the sword. Alright. Feeling okay about this. That was a good hit. Nice. Alright, that actually went pretty well. I'm happy with that. And this time we get the demi-human ashes. So let's take a look at those. That is the spirits of demi-humans that are small in stature, but have a violent, brutish disposition. Though they seem somewhat intelligent, when night falls, their blood boils and they become feral. And that reminds me that we did not read the note for the demi-human mobs. So let's read that one real quick. Slay the demi-human mob's leader first, and the rest will lose hope and panic. And if I remember right, we've already come across something like that where we've defeated the larger one. It was when we fought against the two bosses, and we defeated them, and there were still one or two of the demi-humans left, and they were just kind of cowering there. So if there's a larger one in the group, try to take that out first, and it'll make it a lot easier. But again, be aware of getting swarmed. So. Alright, that was a really good fight. I'm happy with how that went. And my time is doing pretty good. We should end up over at the other cave to start the next episode. So let's go ahead and hit the other forest real quick. So the Alabaster Lord is just a one-time spawn. I want to fight these guys again because sometimes they drop an item. It's another one similar to the blue magic items that I've picked up that you can, like the glintstone scraps. Oh wow, that was pretty cool. But they drop one that's like a gravity magic item, so I just want to defeat them again and see if we can pick one of those up. That's the item that we would get if they're not dropping it. Yeah. Okay. So again, you can farm them, and there's a site of grace nearby. It's pretty easy to access, so if you want to farm them for those items, you can. But I'm sure that we'll come across them later, either from a merchant or from other enemies, so just thought I would try doing that again real quick. Alright, and in this little forest here, there are a bunch of those little Miranda flowers, the little tiny ones. You can see them in the ground. When you ride up to them, they pop out of the ground and do their little poison cloud. They are definitely not worth fighting all of them, just because they drop, I think I tested it, they drop 14 runes each. So not worth it. There's a couple of dogs here and a soldier. And we got a foot soldier's cap. And this is not the dog. Okay. Oh, we're about to get poisoned. Oh, there's the other dog. We might as well just take him out just so we don't have to worry about it. And if you get poisoned here, if you've been following my guide, you should be able to craft the neutralizing boluses. So if you get poisoned, just make sure you pop one of those so that you don't have to keep healing. And that's weird. I thought there was supposed to be a guard up here. Strange. Maybe he's up higher or down lower. Let's drop down and find out. Hey, there he is. Down here. Okay. Sometimes he's outside of the tower. But let's go ahead and climb to the top, and we're going to get a kind of cool item. Really good for the players that are wanting to use strength, like a heavy strength build, but also have some kind of a ranged option. Goodbye. Bolts. Let's double check. The helmet's new. Flanged iron cap widely issued to foot soldiers in a lord's army. I think we picked up some of their other armaments or arms. Definitely not as good. So we'll just keep what we have. And let's go ahead and open this and get the ballista, the hand ballista, and some ballista bolts. So those are like giant arrows or giant bolts. And we are going to equip it, even though we can't use it properly, but it is so cool. Okay, so right-handed armament is where we will equip arrows, and then next to the left-handed armaments is where you will equip bolts. So I'm going to press square to unequip them all, and then I will go back in here and equip ballista bolts. And so you can see just how massive this thing is. That is so cool. So then if I press the LB or left L1 button, then you go into the aim mode, and then R1 is going to be to shoot whatever your number 1 arrows are while you're aimed. And then if you have a second type equipped, then you would use R2. So without aiming, that's what this ballista looks like. So very slow, very heavy, but it is going to require 30 strength, and it doesn't have any scaling, so you need to be strong to use it. And yeah, so if you want to use something like that, there you go. This is kind of cool. But let's go ahead and put on our astrologer's staff and head back down. And you can use the ladders, or you can just drop from platform to platform. Just make sure you're being aware of where you are dropping to, so that you don't fall too far and die or take damage. So, all right. So the next thing that we're going to do is head over that way. Over here, but I think we're going to go to the Bridge of Sacrifice, and we're going to go kind of a back way around, and then we'll get to the front of the cave, or to the side of grace, and then we'll stop there. So if you come over this way, so there's the bridge. If we come over this way and kind of jump at an angle and double jump, you can get up to the top of these. There we go. And then we'll just take this path around. There are definitely other ways to get over there. But this way gets you a Trina's Lily, and they're so rare. And then drop down from here. I prefer to try to jump to that little platform, just so that I don't damage Torrent too much, but he's doing okay. And we're going to be getting to the side of grace real quick, so just come down here by the water, down this right side, and you will see the cave entrance. I still don't have my torch turned on. Let's come on in here, and then we will rest. Let's see if we have enough to level up now that we've taken down that boss. We might. If we do, we'll go ahead and put the points into mind. So we need 800. And I really do want to do this before the boss fight. So I'm going to go to my inventory. I need 800, so I'm just going to use... I'll use 2 of these to give myself 800. And then I'll level up mind. Show you what I have in mind for my increase. That was a lame joke, but I don't care. So now I've got 100. Now I have 100 FP, So I'm going to change my militiaman to Banish Knight Engval. So it will use every single point of FP that I have, but then I can obviously replenish that with the flask. So I really wanted to try him out for the boss fight in this dungeon. So that's what my intent was, and that's my plan. So thank you very much for joining me. This episode actually turned out really well. I'm happy with it. I hope you're enjoying the game as much as I am. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time.